back to the channel. Today we're working on my friend Patrick's 335i. We're working on the e-brake. For some reason it's not locking anymore and it's missing this center piece here that allows it to lock. I think it's the spring.
Yeah.
We're going to replace the whole interior mechanism. So it looks like this. And you got this from FCP or?
Yeah, FCP.
Nice. All right, so yeah, we're going to be putting that in here so that it finally locks and connects to the rear e-brake, because right now he doesn't have an e-brake. The first thing we got to do is remove this boot here, so you can clip these sections off with a pry tool, which we have. So it pries off pretty easily.
Yep.
And then it just slides off just like so. So if you want to change your boot into Alcantara, you can do it that way. You can also clean up all this dust that's here.
I'm very sorry.
I've actually never opened this up before, so I never really knew what's in here. Looks like there's like a gear there, some cords. We need to access the mounting points. So I want to pull that up real quick. We're looking for those two mounting points. Those are the only two, are correct? And then there's a third one up front or in the back? Okay.
Yeah.
Before we start, we want to put the e-brake into service mode. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, so underneath this, you'll find this piece here that needs to be disengaged on the spring that connects to the back, which is the cable. It goes to the e-brake and the rear wheels. So you want to push this with a flat head, and that'll disengage the spring, like so. And now you'll be able to remove this by getting to these mounting points. And you can do so, it's underneath right here where that spring is. Kind of hard to see, but we're going to use the flathead. And if we can't reach it, we'll just take this whole thing off, because we have to anyway. Yeah, I can get it. Honestly, oh, you got it? Okay, so you put it in maintenance mode now. And for some reason it's harder to pull up now, so I guess that's means that we're in maintenance mode, so we can go ahead and remove the rear cables from the back. Showing you the update so far, we took out the rear section over here, which is the center console piece. There's two 10mm nuts over here that you have to take off, and then you can pull this up like so. And we also took out this little cage inside that was underneath this section, which is covering all these up. A couple wires to undo, including the wires for the lights. And once you have this point, you can right over here, this stud, there's two on both sides, one here and one here. They're 10mm nuts. Take them off, and then you can pull this whole section up. And the nice thing is it allows you to lift this high enough, just barely, to access the nuts in the back. That's that nut looks like a 13mm, but that's the back mounting nut. And then this is also where it connects to the rear cables. So to get them off, it's basically this here, and then you just pull this tab back, and that'll allow you to loosen that ball that's right here, and then you can pop it out through the top. Okay, so far we're having a hard time reaching those back cables, so we're gonna try and remove this center piece out, which means we gotta remove some wiring here and then pop these caps off, and there's more bolts here. Same thing on this side. And you remove those bolts, and then we can just pop this whole entire center armrest piece out, and that'll give us more access to what we're trying to get to. Okay, so we're removing these two nuts right here. They're 10mm nuts, and then there's another one in the front that you can access from over here through the e-brake area, just using a swivel socket. So once you've got these removed, they're 3 10mm nuts, then you can pop this box up and out of the way. And you don't need to unplug it, you just need to move it out of the way. And now you have access to the rear cables right over there, along with the mounting points, which is right there. So let's go ahead and start working on these cables. Okay, so we tried for a while to get them out, and it just won't budge. There's too much tension on the rear cables. So what we're gonna do is remove the parking brake from its mounting points, and then that should give us enough looseness to get the cables out. Points is back here, and then there's two up front. 13mm bolt for this back one. And these are the other two mounting bolts just on the center underneath the e-brake boot. Okay, so there was a wire that's connected to the e-brake. It's this wire right here, and it's the one that tells you when your e-brake is on or off on the dashboard. To get it off, all you have to do is push this tab down like that. When you push it down, it's gonna slide right out. And the same thing, push down to put the new wire back into this plastic hole right over there. So now that the wire's out, we got all the mounting bolts off. It's very loose now, and that gives us enough room to remove the back cables because there's a lot less tension on here. Okay, we got one ball out. All right, we got everything off, coming out now. That's the old broken one. And this is what it looks like without any e-brake assembly. This is hanging out. This is what you have to take off in order to get to these two rear cables here. And luckily they won't retract back in where you have to fish for them. So this black cover here, we just took it from the back of this old one and we're gonna swap it over to this new one. There, that's what it looks like when it's clipped into place. You can tell because it fits perfectly now. Now we have everything swapped over. We don't need to swap anything else, right? This is it? Yeah. Okay, so we need to put this new one into park brake maintenance mode. So again, we're gonna find that tab and then loosen it up, which is right over there. So now that it's in that mode, we can go ahead and install it now. Let's start with the rear cables first, and then we're gonna put the mounting brackets on. Follow the grooves. Ooh, that was easy. Wow, very quick. Now, put it into the studs. So there's one stud, and then get the front two studs. I'm gonna show it in the front here, sorry. And then the front two studs are right here. Okay, so we got the e-brake in. I put the wire back on, which is right there. And then we got the 13mm nut, just one, and then we're gonna put the other ones in the front later. I put the box back where it's supposed to be. We got two nuts there, 10mm nuts to hold it in place. And don't forget this grounding nut right here. This needs to be grounded so that it works, whatever the heck this thing does. And then we're gonna go ahead, put the front nuts for the parking brake. And then we're gonna put all this stuff back on. And this is gonna be the nightmare, is figuring out where everything goes and how to put it, but we'll figure it out. And if we see anything along the way that's helpful, we'll let you know. But we'll be here for a while, so see you guys in a couple minutes or hours. All right, so we got all of the trim back on. Took a lot of finicky trial and error, but we got it. Now we just got to put the boot back on for the e-brake, which is right here. Slide it in.
Wow, I have one now.
And then just pop each of the sections for the boot until it clicks.
There it is.
Wonderful. Okay, so one thing we noticed is the brake, the e-brake is much firmer. It only takes about 5 or 6 clicks until it's fully engaged. Unlike before when it was super loose and you can bring it all the way up high. So you don't have to readjust the rears, which is nice. Just make sure when you put it back down, it's all the way down, because it could be one click up and you wouldn't really know. So make sure it's all the way down before you drive. So that is how you change the e-brake shift lever mechanism underneath the car. This is Patrick. This is Ellie. And thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. We'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good evening. Peace.